Hi Reynas, welcome back to my channel. I am Vijayreyna. For those of you guys who don't know me, I am a new and upcoming pageant analyst. Well, I started a year ago, but I took a break and I'm back as of about a month ago. So I'm relatively new to the space. And I make YouTube videos about pageantry, obviously. And yeah, so this video, we're just gonna go ahead and we're going to talk about Miss CJ Opiaza, the first runner-up at Miss Grand International. I'm gonna go ahead and react to her highlight moments. Hopefully I don't get copyright striked. If I do and the video does not let me upload with CJ's performance, then I will just react and then post it. However, if I don't get copyright striked, then you guys will see what I'm seeing right here on the screen next to me. So it just depends on what YouTube decides to do. So yeah, let's get into it. Just a little backstory. I have been following CJ since Beating Filipinas. I have loved her. She's actually one of my favorite queens ever. Everyone has their sentimental favorites, right? And I follow Filipino pageantry pretty closely because that's how I was introduced to pageantry. So CJ Opiaza, I followed her whole journey during Beating. I followed her journey during MUPH. She was my bet to win MUPH. Rather, she was my sentimental favorite, and I really wanted her to win MUPH. And yeah, but it's okay. Life had other plans for CJ. She ended up winning the Miss Grand International Philippines title in 2024, and 3 days later, she was off to Cambodia and eventually Thailand to go compete and make her way to become the first runner-up. And I am honestly so elated. I'm so proud of CJ Opiaza. Honestly, she's just such a sentimental favorite of mine. Every time I see this woman on my screen, on my TV, on my Instagram feed, I just can't help but smile and be proud. I'm not Filipino, but I am just such a CJ fan. So yeah, let's go ahead and react to her highlights. I'm gonna pause it here or there just to talk about my thoughts. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's not waste time.
And this victory is something that I would forever treasure, of course. I did my very best. I put my heart into this. I did everything for this crown, and this was the blessing that God gave me, and
Yes.
I'm just so happy. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit, guys. That way I don't get copyright strikes, and that way you guys can hear me as well. So right now I'm just watching the entrance of Miss Grand International, and I remember during my reaction video, I noticed that CJ was right in front during a lot of the dancing portion, and that was just so incredible to see because CJ is a performer through and through, not just in pageantry, but on stage. That girl can dance, she can walk. I mean, look at this. She is just, the minute she's on stage, no matter what she does, she just does it with perfection. CJ is not just a beauty queen, she's just an artist. She's truly an artist. So here was a top 20 announcement, and I think CJ, wasn't she announced was she the last one announced during the top 20? I don't remember, but I just remember being elated. And I was almost sure, I was like, there's no way CJ Opiaza won't make the top 20, because she was literally my top 5 on my predictions. So I was like, she has to make top 20. Oh, here we go with the YouTube ads. So yeah, when she made top 20, I was so elated. I was like, ah! You can go watch my reaction. I have my reaction posted on my channel, and you will see me scream every time CJ Opiaza is on the screen. So here we go, CJ Opiaza's swimsuit competition. Oh gosh, I mean, what can we say? This woman is just so magical to watch. And it's not just her pasarela, it's everything. Her facials, the way she makes contact with the camera, the way her energy is, you can truly feel her energy through the screen. You feel like you're up there, right in person. You feel like you're a live audience because she makes the experience so great to watch. And look at this woman's pasarela. I mean, she's not a pasarela coach for nothing, correct? She's a pasarela coach because she's that girl. She just knows what to do. She's just incredible. And a little wink. It's also the moments that we don't see on camera. Even when the cameras aren't on her, the screen cameras, she's just still, I'm gonna pause real quickly. Even when the cameras aren't on CJ, she's always on camera mode, you know what I'm saying? Obviously we see the behind the scenes or the non-aired parts of CJ's performance because the live audience records it too, right? And they post it online, we can see it. And every time that you see CJ on stage, whether or not she was having the big production cameras on her or otherwise, she's always just there. She's in the zone. She's in the competition. She's prepared. She's ready to go. And that is what is so incredible about CJ Opiaza. There's not a moment that you can catch her off guard. You know, a lot of the queens, and it's fair, once the camera, the big production cameras, are off of them, they kind of, sometimes they're not fully there. CJ is there 24/7. She is there. She is ready to go. You cannot catch this queen off guard. Like, she is always ready. And that's one thing I just love about her and I admire, because it's not easy, you guys. Like, these women are standing in heels for long durations of time. They were doing preliminary activities at Miss Grand for weeks, going from Cambodia to Thailand to Pattaya to Bangkok. So all the women, CJ included, must be at least somewhat exhausted, right? So the fact that after all of that, CJ Opiaza can still muster up the strength and the energy to just still be on it 24/7 is honestly just so perplexing and admirable. Not just in the sense of pageantry, right? But in anything that you do in life. And that's what I admire about CJ, because it's not just when she's on stage that she is just on top of her game. She does it during the preliminary activities. She is always on her game, whether it's about social media presence and content, or just being present during the preliminary activities, sponsorships. And guys, remember, CJ Opiaza had a very short time to prepare for Miss Grand International. I mean, she was crowned, and 3 days later she was off to Cambodia to start the preliminary activities. So there was not a lot of time that elapsed between her being crowned and her needing to go and represent the Philippines. And so obviously, if you watch CJ Opiaza in previous competitions, you know that she didn't need more than 3 days to be prepared, because she was prepared before she was even crowned. Like, to be honest, Miss CJ Opiaza was Miss Grand International ready before, like, all the way during beating Filipinas. Like, she didn't need to wait for the Miss Grand International Philippines competition to start to be ready. She was ready during her beating Filipinas stunt. Like, she was ready since then. So there's not a lot of queens that can necessarily do that and be so ready and so prepared. So yeah, let's move forward and watch the rest. So now we are watching the top 10 announcement, I think. Yes. Yes. Okay, I think this is the moment maybe where there was one, I don't know if it was a top 20 or top 10, where they did not, yeah, it was top 10. So, okay, so I'll pause. I remember during the top 10, it was this moment where they had called 9 out of 10 of the girls, I believe, and CJ was not called yet. CJ was not called. And I was thinking, wow, like, who are they going to call? Like, Gurasa was really good. But truly, I was like, it has to be CJ. Like, there were other good girls, like US Virgin Islands was really great, Gurasa was really great, but I was like, come on. Like, CJ Opiaza wasn't just great. She wasn't just good. She was, like, perfect. So I was like, where is she at? I don't know if they're doing it for the suspense factor, because, you know, Miss Grand International is all about the drama and the suspense, or what was going on. But I was like, if they don't call CJ Opiaza in this top 10, I can't help you out. Like, it's a cooking show. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I was like, where is she at? I was about to revolt. I was about to become a Filipino in the next 10 seconds if they called anyone but CJ Opiaza. So when they called her, I was elated. I was just so happy, so filled with joy, because she is just, come on, like, she has to make it. Like, for me, she has to make it. And I know we all have our favorites, and every queen up there in the top 20, you know, they all worked hard, but CJ Opiaza was just incredible to watch through the swimsuit competition. I mean, I think she's great in all events during the competition, but I think swimsuit is really one of her highlights. Man, I don't know. She's so good at everything. What is CJ Opiaza's, like, good event? Like, I think they're all her good event. Like, she's just so good at everything. Swimsuit, evening gown, cute, everything in between. Like, gosh, I don't know what I would say CJ Opiaza's, like, the event is, right? You know, a lot of girls are either good at swimsuit or they're good at evening gown, or at least they're good at one, maybe okay at the other. But CJ is just, like, great in everything, and she's a wonder to watch. So yeah, I was so happy to see that she got called in the top 10. Although Miss Grand, you really got me there. Like, I was really getting, like, panicked. Okay, let's move on. So here is her dress, her evening gown competition. There are a lot of thoughts. I guess this one does not have her speech in it, so I'll talk about that in a second. So this was her evening gown competition. I mean, just a beauty to watch. I saw that there was opinions online about her evening gown. Not everyone was the biggest fan of it apparently, and I think Leo Model, is that his name? Sir Leo Model. I apologize if I'm butchering his name. So sorry. I think that he made a statement that he wasn't the biggest fan. I'll put it here somewhere, maybe, or maybe I won't. But there's quite a few people who criticized her dress, and I'll talk about that in a second. But first, let's just admire her performance. Taking the dress out of the picture, her performance is so good. I mean, I did not know that cape was detached. Oh, there we go. When she throws the cape up and she lets it drop. I'm gonna pause it here. When she throws the cape up and lets it drop during the ending pose, and it was slow motion, like during the actual live broadcasting, they had like the slow mo going, and she just threw it up and let it fall on its own. I mean, it brought me back to Miss Universe Philippines 2023. I don't know if you guys remember the evening gown competition when CJ Opiaza wore that beautiful gown by Sir Mac, I believe it was made by, and she did the same thing. It wasn't, I don't know if it was aired, but she kind of did this like little turn and she threw the cape in the air. I'll put it up here. And it was just so beautiful and gorgeous to watch. And CJ brought that back to Miss Grand International. And it was just like, for those of us who love CJ and know CJ, it was just such a joy to watch that moment be recreated on the Miss Grand International stage. And just seeing CJ like smile on my, at least on my laptop right now, I paused her as she's smiling, and it's just so great to see a queen who's so deserving smile. I could be nothing else but happy. So yeah, I was elated to see CJ Opiaza recreate that at Miss Grand International. That moment was just majestic. So I guess let's talk about the dress, the evening gown. I think Sir Mac also made this dress as well, if I'm incorrect. And I think some people just said that it was not giving very Miss Grand. They don't feel like it was appropriate. They felt like they wanted a better dress from CJ Opiaza. And they also, some people had commentary about maybe it didn't help her with the height. The heel should have been bigger, or there should have been more curvature and padding maybe in the dress or something. In the moment when I was doing my live reaction, I was like, I was happy with the dress. But guys, the thing about filming live reactions is that there's not a lot of time to absorb everything. Also, I'm new to doing live reactions, so it's a little difficult for me to juggle like the camera and reacting and washing and painting. There's a lot going on during live reactions, and so sometimes you don't get to really analyze a dress in depth as we can right now. And I'm not pausing the reaction, the video, the streaming, the competition, because it's a live reaction. So I just want to watch it as if I was watching it in real life, right? And at that moment, I just was so elated with CJ's performance that I don't think I really paid attention to the gown too much. I do think that her preliminary gown was a little bit more grand oriented. It was more grand like. But the thing about CJ Opiaza, and this is not something that we can say about every queen out there, right? Is that yes, I can see how some may make the constructive criticism that this is not a very Miss Grand dress. I understand that. I do think that there has been more Miss Grand dresses. And I think Sir Leo Model, I think is his name again. I really do apologize. You know what? Let me look up his name because I don't want to butcher it and I want to be respectful to him. Although I doubt he's watching this video, but let me go ahead. What is it? Leo. That's Leo Almodal. Leo Almodal. Sir Leo Almodal. Sir Leo Almodal makes these dresses that are like beautiful and studded out in these what appears to be like Swarovski crystals. I mean, we saw Anita Rose Gomez, Miss Universe Philippines Zambales 2024 in this beautiful dress. I think Miss Grand International Colombia wore Sir Leo's creations at Miss Grand International, and those are very grand. Admittedly, Sir Leo makes very Miss Grand International appealing dresses, and they're just quite stunning and quite beautiful. But so I understand the criticism. I understand the critique. I don't know that this is necessarily a Miss Grand gown, but I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. This is no disrespect to Sir Mac. Mac is such a respected designer. If you know anything about Sir Mac and his gowns and his history, I mean, he's the creator of the very well-known, for good reason, infamous lava gown of Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray, amongst many other dresses as well. I think Sir Mac actually made CJ Opiaza's Miss Universe 2023 finale gown, which was one of my favorite gowns like ever. So yeah, I don't really care that the gown wasn't necessarily a Miss Grand gown, only because CJ Opiaza carried it so well. Now, what I will say is, you know, if it was a different queen who maybe did not have the same performance capabilities as CJ Opiaza, it may have held them back. But I still think she looks stunning, that being said. I still think she looks beautiful. And she still got first runner-up with the gown. So apparently the judges did not seem to care that much either. So, hey, like, you know, it's in the past now. Nothing that can be done. And also you have to remember the time restraints that CJ Opiaza had. And there was not a lot of time between her being crowned and her needing to go. So, yeah, let's move on. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous queen. And see, like, even when she's walking off the stage, in the video I'm watching, she's still on it. Okay, so here's her speech. I remember being a little nervous. CJ's always been a good speaker, but I would not say in the past she's always been, like, the best, right? So I was a little nervous, but I was confident in my girl.
Of how we perceive ourselves.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna like replay the entire speech. I've already seen it. If you guys haven't seen it, then go ahead and look at my live reaction, or go ahead and I'll put it here or something. But her speech was really, really endearing to me. I mean, this, as a CJ Opiaza fan, was a very proud moment. Her speaking capabilities has skyrocketed. As someone who has a degree in communications, honestly, her ability to communicate her thoughts was beautiful. It really felt heartfelt, and I was honestly touched by her speech. I agree with every word she says. Again, you can watch my live reaction if you want to see how I reacted to hearing her speech initially for the first time, and I still had the same reaction, just goosebumps. It was such a beautiful, beautiful speech, and I knew right then and there that she was definitely going to advance to the top 5. Regardless of the evening gown. I don't think evening gown, I think speech was first and then evening gown, but I was never worried about CJ Opiaza's performances on stage, so that was not my concern. And when I heard her speech, I knew automatically and right away, this woman is going to be in the top 5. That speech was so touching, and it was so true, and it was a really different take, because she was still focusing on, you know, the like stopping war, or you know, advocating for peace, which is kind of what Miss Grand International's advocacy and focus happens to be. But she took a really interesting take on it. She talked about how all of these things stem from within our heart, and how we speak to ourselves and how we view ourselves. And if we feed negativity in our heart, then it comes outward, and we start to do negative things outward. So it was quite stunning and beautiful to see her take on it. It was a very unique take, and it just really displayed her her intelligence. And in that moment, I was just smiling and so proud, because I have seen so many comments about CJ Opiaza and how she is only a Miss Grand Queen, how she's not fit for Miss Universe because she might not have the speaking capabilities or whatever, you know, just these criticisms. And I never had an ounce of a doubt that CJ Opiaza would be good for any competition, whether it was Miss Grand International, Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Supra. I really think this queen is fit for any competition that you put her in, and then she can fit whatever she needs to. And this right here proved just that. She spoke not just like a Miss Grand International, which I'm not really sure what that means, because our current Miss Grand International, Rachel Gupta, is an amazing speaker. So she spoke like a Miss World. She spoke like a Miss Universe. This woman proved in this moment that she can be a Miss Universe Philippines. She can be a Miss Universe winner. She can be a Miss World winner. This woman really proved to a lot of people that she, in fact, can speak. And I think she already did that during her interview. I also have a reaction to her interview and my thoughts on that in my channel. But during the interview, she also just displayed intelligence. And guys, the interview is not rehearsed. CJ had to, on her like in real life, in real time, come up with her answers and her responses to Nawat's really challenging questions specifically to her. And she did it with such intelligence, and she had such a wit in her responses then. And this just further displayed her ability to speak eloquently and with intelligence and with thought. And I am honestly so proud of CJ. So yeah, let's move forward. So this was a top 5 announcement, and I remember being so nervous. I was like, oh my god. I was pretty confident she's gonna make it, but you never know. You know, these competitions, you never know. So yeah, they announced CJ, and like, she just deserves this moment so much, and she truly deserves it. Not because I love her, not because I know her backstory about being a breadwinner, none of that, but because she truly worked to be here. She truly deserved her spot. And I think she may have been the first to be announced, the top 5, and it was just great. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. So now was her Q&A portion. Again, I'm not going to display the full answer, or maybe I will, I don't know. We'll find out when I edit the video if I put her whole Q&A here. But the question and answer had to do with, I think, what is in your opinion, like a big problem in the world, and what is your proposed solution to that problem? Something of that nature. And CJ Opiaza, I believe she presented war being a really big problem, and fighting and violence. And I have my live reaction again in my channel that you guys can go ahead and check out if you want to see my live reaction to it. And it was still good. I was really proud of CJ. I still think that she really spoke well. However, I do think that she forgot to propose a solution. I think she was trying to propose being kind to one another and treating each other like brothers and sisters as the solution to stopping war. And while that is true and it's good, I think maybe it would have been more impactful if there was a more tangible solution that she presented. So I do think for that reason she got first runner-up and wasn't able to snatch the crown relative to Rachel Gupta of India. But I still think she had, rightfully so, the second best answer of the night. And that's really honestly an achievement, you guys. That's not an insult at all. That's an achievement. Because we're talking about over 70 countries represented at Miss Grand International. And amongst those, CJ Opiaza, this woman who comes from the Philippines, this woman who is a breadwinner for her family, this woman who has been trying to get a crown to represent the Philippines, she did that. And she got first runner-up and second place in the competition amongst so many really strong contestants. And she has to go through all aspects of the competition to do that. You know, CJ Opiaza is not to be reduced to just a stage performer. She also exemplified that she is a woman with intelligence, and it was just a proud moment. So that's my thoughts on her Q&A. And yeah, so there's that. So here is the final walk for Miss Grand Philippines, CJ Opiaza, first runner-up. And during her finale walk, she looked gorgeous. I think she had a little slip, but in true CJ nature, she was able to get right back up and keep going. And that's what you do. That's what you do, ladies. If you're competing and you slip a little bit, you do what CJ does, and look, she's like, oh, I slipped. Let me twirl and show you guys that I can still keep going. So that's exactly what you do. If you fall down, which she didn't fall, if you just have a little stumble, you just play it off like it never happened. And it honestly, it just adds to it. Honestly, that's personality to that final walk, because it just shows that she can get back up even if she's a little slip. A little slip is nothing to her. That's what that shows. And so it was, yeah, it was beautiful. So now here's the placements. And I remember when CJ Opiaza was announced the top 2, I was so ecstatic. I predicted that Rachel Gupta of India and Miss CJ Opiaza of the Philippines were going to be the top 2. If you also watched my live reaction from the very beginning, I had said it's going to be CJ Opiaza of the Philippines and Rachel Gupta of India. So to see my top 2 there was honestly truly amazing. I'm not going to speak much about Rachel Gupta in this video because this video is not about her, and I will have a follow-up video about Rachel. But when we're talking strictly about CJ Opiaza, I literally was emotional for her. Because, again, to come from being this woman in the Philippines, being a breadwinner who is just trying to pave way for herself and help support her family, to competing at competitions such as being Filipinas and Miss Universe Philippines and then Miss Grand International Philippines, to finally representing the Philippines, to having 3 days to prepare, to go and pack all your bags and go and represent your country, and you end up being in the top 2 at this very difficult competition that requires, honestly, maybe even more than Miss Universe. I mean, at Miss Grand International, you have to come with not just a good performance, but with business. You have to come with social media presence. You have to come with impact. You have to really be very unique. And I watched Luis Porteles, and I think one of his videos, and he mentioned that you really have to think outside of the pageantry box at Miss Grand International, and I could not say it any better. I think that's completely true. And Miss CJ Opiaza had such a short time to prepare, but yet she had such an impactful presence while she was there. And to see, again, this woman who was a breadwinner for her family and has been nothing but just so humble and gracious throughout this competition and put forth such a valiant and admirable effort, and see her at the top 2 was heart touching. Like, even now I'm like getting a little choked up talking about it, because wow. So let's watch the top 2, the final 2. Such a heart-splitting moment, being ethnically, I'm Indian by blood, half Indian, but CJ Opiaza, again, is my sentimental favorite from way before Miss Grand International. So, man, in this moment, I was like, just give 2 crowns. Just give 2 crowns. I mean, I think if there's an up-close video, I'll put it up here, of CJ having a few tears while she's holding hands with Rachel. And I just love her so much. It's like, give her the crown too. Let's just give them both the crown. Like, forget it. God, they both look so beautiful, and they both look so gorgeous up there. Wow. My heart was beating. I'm like, who is it? Who is it? Oh. And so here we go with the eventual announcement, and they announced that it was Miss Grand India. So Miss Grand India won, and CJ, such a good sport. I mean, look at her right away. She shakes her head, accepting it, and she immediately goes to hug Rachel, hugs her again because Rachel's excited, obviously, and CJ doesn't take offense to it. She's very understanding, gives her a hug. And oh my God, look at her. She's just still embracing Rachel, still congratulating her, waving like the queen she is, having such a smile on her face. This is the aftermath where they're all together. Myanmar's crying. And so CJ Opiaza is just, like, Filipinos, be so proud. CJ Opiaza, I have been to the Philippines. I spent about a month there. And I've been around Filipinos a lot. I have a tita who is Filipino. I have cousins who are half Filipino. Filipinos in general are very, very warm-hearted people. They're very kind. They're very gracious. They are always just so bubbly, so happy, and they're some of my favorite people that I've ever met. And CJ Opiaza is a true representation of a Filipino. Humble, kind, respectful, gracious, just super, just has a smile despite the circumstances. So that, to me, is what Filipinos are from my experience with interacting with Filipinos. And she just really exemplified that on stage beautifully. Even after she got first runner-up, she did what you should do, which is be proud of yourself, because first runner-up is an amazing feat. So CJ, I have a little message for you in Tagalog. So I have my roommate who is Filipino translate it for me. So let me go ahead and read it out. Okay. CJ, sobrang humanga ako sa'yo. Pinahanga mo hindi lang ang mga Pinoy pero pati na rin ang mga fans mo. Ying marinig namin ang istorya kung papanong isa kang breadwinner at ang makita kang maraming maatim ay talagang nakaka-inspire. Totoo kang representasyon ng masipag mapagkumbaba mapagkumbaba at mabuting
Pagkatao.
pagkatao mabuting
Pagkatao.
mabuting pagkatao ng Pilipino. Whew! Hihintayin ko kung anong gagawin mo sa susunod na taon sa iyong bagong titulo. Sana hindi ito paalam kung hindi isang hanggang sa muli. Nakakita ko ang universe sa iyong mga kamay.
Ang universe.
Ang universe sa iyong mga kamay at sana nakikita mo rin ang galing mo at suwertehin ka sana sa iyong mga proyekto sa hinaharap. And so yeah, guys, that's my message to CJ. I hope it was intelligible and you guys were able to understand it. The last thing that I want to say is that the Philippines recently went through a natural disaster. So go ahead and please check that video out. In that video, I'm going to kind of talk about what's going on in the Philippines with the natural disaster. I want to just bring a little bit of attention to it because I do have this platform. It's not big. The Reyna family is not huge, but it's powerful, I believe. And so if you could please go ahead and check that video out and give some support to the Philippines. If you have the money to donate, and I left some links that you guys can donate to in that video. And I'll also leave some links in this video in the description box below where you can donate. And I'll also have it as a pinned comment in the comment sections. So please go ahead and donate to that if you can. And if you can't donate, that's fine. Just go ahead and share it to your friends and family. And let's keep the Philippines in our prayers and the Filipino people in our prayers as they go through this tough time. Again, I've been to the Philippines. I spent almost a month there, and it's such a beautiful country. So I am heartbroken that they're going through this natural disaster and that some people have lost, unfortunately, their lives. So please keep them in your prayers, and God willing, those people, those families that are affected will be able to find, community support. And yeah, so guys, that is my video. If you guys like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you want to join the Reyna family. I would love to have you. We recently hit 600 subscribers and our family members rather. So I am really excited about that. Thank you guys so much for the support. Go ahead and leave your comments down below about what you guys thought about CJ's performance. Positive comments only for the most part, please. I don't mind constructive criticism as long as it is done tastefully, but try to keep it positive if you can. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And my Instagram will be in the description down below. So go ahead and say hi to me down there if you want. And yeah, bye you guys.